Hi everyone, good morning. So hi, good morning. So 9:06 a.m. already. Few still not here, but I think we need to proceed. But actually, I'm still at the hospital, so I can't talk that loud. Okay? Huh? Alvin, Ning, what? Oh, Ning. So before we proceed with our lecture today, uh, first is your midterm mark. I already sent to you your midterm mark to your email. So whoever haven't received the mark for your midterm RM, do notify me, as well as your OOAD. But I think OOAD, everything should receive the mark as well. So for RM, please tell me if you haven't received your mark. Okay, so I already returned your mark. In case you are wondering why I haven't discussed, because as this is your course plan actually. So if you see your feedback on midterm test will be on week 13. Okay, week 13 feedback on midterm test. So we will discuss on your midterm here on week 13. Okay, so however, based on our CC, it is not necessary to return your paper back to you. I won't return personal paper to you, but I will discuss I will discuss the answer with you. Okay, that one is one. And then your assignment. So your assignment we will discuss after our lecture. Okay, so we will proceed our lecture and our practical. There's one more practical that we need to complete, which is ANOVA. That one will be the last part for our practical. So here is our lecture actually. So we only leave, there are only two that we haven't covered, which is chapter 7 and chapter 9. Chapter 7, research presentation and ethical issue. The number of chapter here is not based on the number of chapter in course plan. Okay, that's why last week we already touched on time and risk management. Okay, so this week we will see research presentation and ethical issue. So you guys can hear me, right? I think yes. You guys can hear me? Myself can. Okay. So if you cannot if you cannot hear me, then let me know. So we will proceed with our lecture this morning, which is presentation. So presentation. Oh, I haven't opened. Research presentation. So before I start my lecture, any question on your or any issue before I start my lecture today? Can I proceed? Okay. Okay. So before we start, okay. So let's start our lecture. Research presentation. So I think for your level, this is not the first time, or I think you guys are already familiar with presentation. So presentation is actually a process. Oh, it's not a process. It is actually, it is a process. Actually, we present, we tell the people, we tell our audience about our work. So in this research method, so you need to present your work, which is your article, your research. So the audience will be your classmate and me, of course. Okay. So presentation. Okay. So like I said, you need to present, you need to tell people about your work. So for this course, for this subject, research method, of course you need to present, of course you need to tell on the article what your article or what your research is about. Okay, because like I said, when you are doing research, when you're writing your article, so um, when you're doing research, actually pure research, actually when you're doing research, you are the scientist, so you are the person that should know about your research. Even though for this class research method, I am the lecturer, but I do not have that much knowledge as much as you have for your research. Okay, so I can only get you based on the research, not on the topic. Okay, so that part, that what is research presentation. So like I said, research presentation, you need to present your work, your article. However, research paper presentation doesn't mean that you need to present your one whole article. For example, your article is between 20, right? So it doesn't mean that you need to present that 20 page. Okay, so usually, okay, this one for your presentation as well, which is next week. So for your research method presentation, mm, you need to write like a you need to create like a simple Microsoft PowerPoint, not necessarily Microsoft PowerPoint. It can be, you can use any tool as long as you have the content of your article. I will show you later what should be the content after this lecture, but yeah, you doesn't need to present your whole article. Okay, so you need to present the finding based on your research paper. Okay, so there are purpose actually why we need to conduct research presentation. First, hmm, first, what you cannot do in your presentation is impress the audience. Okay, we doesn't need to impress anyone. We doesn't need to impress our audience. So usually our audience for this class, like I said, audience for our research method class is only the me lecturer and the students, your friend. But for your FYP, it is usually open. That's mean okay. That's mean for your FYP letter, your audience can be your friends, your examiner, and your supervisor. Or sometimes it is open to other lecturer as well. Okay, so we doesn't need to impress them. We doesn't need to tell how much we know, but we need to tell them what exactly that we are doing for our research. Okay, tell them all you know about the subject. Okay, we need to tell them about our subject, about, like I said, we need to tell them the exact thing that we do for our research, the exact thing that you're focusing on, and then present every little detail of your work. Okay, so it is very important, it is crucial in our presentation. We need to tell people, or we need to tell our audience what our research is. Okay, why it is that here little detail is because we cannot assume that all of our audience already read our thesis. For example, later in your next week presentation for this class, you cannot, of course I already read your, even before this week I already read your, so you need to tell the, you need to tell oh, of course before this class actually I already read your research paper. However, for your presentation, you cannot assume your audience know the detail of your research. That's why I said this now. It is very crucial for us to tell the little detail of our work. For example, if you are using, oh, for example, let's take an example for Noel group, Noel, Wang Zisheng, and there's one more guy, I forgot who. They are using a website to capture their data. So they need to tell, I forgot already what the abbreviation, short form of their, I forgot already, but you need to tell them what it is actually. So we cannot assume people that they know what it is actually. Okay, so that's why you need to tell every little detail of your work. And then Okay, that one is not true. That means you cannot do that in your presentation. Okay, your research presentation is quite different, I believe, unless you already have your subject before, which you already study on research presentation. I'm not sure on your diploma, but research presentation is quite different with your other subject presentation. Okay, it is different. Okay, so what you can do is give the audience a sense of what your work or idea is. So like I said, we need to tell people the exact thing or uh the exact area that we're focusing on for our research, and then make them want to read your paper. This is another crucial part on research. Okay, crucial and important. Why I say so? Because it is very hard actually to make people want to read our paper or to make people um, interested with our paper. Not everyone will uh, read our paper. So you need to write or you need to have like a point actually to capture their attention. Okay, to make them engage with your paper so that the people, so that people will read your paper. Okay, and then get feedback on your work. Okay, this is another thing. Later when you do FYP, this is advice for you. Okay, mm, like I say, I'm not sure how it will be because for TAR, they haven't briefed me on your FYP, but this is very important. Get feedback on your work. That's mean for FYP, you need to do, I'm not sure, okay, I repeat, I'm not sure. So you need to like at least have a frequent or like weekly or maybe every 2 weeks, you need to share with your supervisor, which is very important. You need to share with your supervisor what your work is, because if you do not present or if they do not know what is going on with your research, and then at the presentation, which is end of semester, usually end of your semester end of your semester, you can get failed for your FYP. This is very common. And for your, should I say this? I'm not sure to here, but for your information, this is very normal. Some of the students need to extend their time. That means they cannot grade on time. Okay, they cannot grade on time because of their FYP. This is very normal in my university. I'm not sure here in TAR you see. So try to avoid this thing by get weekly, or it's not necessarily weekly, it's up to your lecturer actually, weekly or maybe every 2 week once you need to present them so that they guide you. Okay, so that's another reason why I said that you need to find your supervisor, a supervisor who can give feedback to you, because this is very common actually, not only in TAR, not only in UMS, or not only in any particular university. When you select your supervisor, make sure you know your supervisor well, you know how they work. For some supervisor, even though you WhatsApp them, they only respond to your WhatsApp every 2 weeks. That means 2 weeks ago you WhatsApp them, only this week they reply you, because they are very busy sometimes. There are some cases. Okay, so I have a friend actually in my study. She is actually my senior. So she already start her master, I think 1 year. I'm not sure, 1 year or one semester before me, but she only graduated recently because her supervisor is very busy. That means she cannot get like a feedback. It is very important, especially from your supervisor. So yeah, supervisor is important. Okay, next is know your audience. Okay, you should be aware who will be the audience of your presentation. Like I said, for your research method presentation, there will be only me and your friends, so you need to know them. So for last time I mentioned about this thing where we call as a conference. So researcher or scientists, usually after they already do their paper, for example, your article, you already done your article. So you need, yes, do people change FYP topic midway? Yes, that is very normal. uh I think I mentioned before, there is one PhD student in my school. She already finished, or no, she already done her research for 3 years, for PhD for 3 years. Suddenly she changed her topic. That means she need to go back from the start. That is very normal. But that topic, FYP topic, it is depend actually. If you just want to change the term, that means it's only minor. It's only minor change to your research. But if it is a major change, that means you need to change the whole thing. Then yeah, you need to start all over again. But this is very normal to start again. FYP topic. That's why I said it is very important to find your supervisor, because supervisor will advise you. Okay, sometimes you think that you need to change everything, but the input from the supervisor, or maybe have sometimes if your supervisor is nice enough, some supervisor, mm, mm, I won't say the supervisor, your lecture is not good, but some supervisor, they will totally leave your FYP project. Best depends on the student. But for some supervisor, of course, they will help you. Okay, so this is normal, by the way. So you need to know, like I said, you need to know your what you want to do actually. So here, who would be there? So scientist expert in your field. Okay, scientist expert in your field. Okay, for example, here is, let's take my PhD research. Okay, my research is focusing on autism, neurobiological disorder, and technology, which is our field, computer science. So the people that I can expect, because I do not know yet the people that who will be there, but I can expect who will be there during my presentation, my Viva. Oh, presentation we call as Viva actually for FYP. But for research method, it is only presentation. But for FYP, we call it as a Viva. Viva. Yeah, Viva. So for my research, I can expect that the scientist or the expert who will be there is first, of course, the specialist in autism. I expect that. Okay. Second, those or any scientists who are interested to join my Viva or presentation. Mostly those who are related between this domain, which is autism and the technology. And then, of course, a senior lecturer, which is my committee, all the professor. And then scientists not expert in your field. So like I mentioned just now, not only those, sometimes it is open to public. It is open to people to come and watch your presentation. So maybe some scientists, which is not in our field, will come. For example, maybe mm, my friend from other field, scientists from other field will come. Okay, this is very normal. Sometimes I go and watch their presentation to the Viva too. And then students. This one usually for higher level, for example, PhD, of course, the junior student, for example, master or degree student will come and watch. If you're face to face, they will come and yeah, they will attend your presentation. Okay, students. Non-expert. Non-expert is same like scientist not expert. This one is like I said, this is public. So it is open actually to people to come and watch. Maybe they are interested with your title research, so they will come. And then who knows? That's mean, yeah, like I said, publics, anyone can come. So usually for for higher, especially for higher level, usually for degree, for FYP, usually only the students and the lecturer. Okay, student and lecturer. So it's rare actually for degree student, for the scientist expert to come and see your presentation. So expect people to come. Okay, expect your friend to come. Okay, don't tell them not to come their presentation. Don't tell them to not to come to your presentation, because yeah. Okay, so expect people to come. So Viva. Like I said, Viva is a presentation of our, yeah, VIVA. Viva. Viva is a presentation of our work. So like I said, for research, it is different from your other subject. So for research method or your FYP, it is a Viva. But for research method, actually, it's a presentation actually. But for FYP, it is a Viva. Okay. So know your audience. Okay. Keep in mind, okay, this one you need to remember throughout your presentation. First, they might be tired. Why tired? Okay, for some cases, for Viva, okay, let's use the term Viva here so that you will be familiar with the term. Okay, so again, Viva is a presentation of your research. Okay, Viva and conference is different. Viva is for student, degree, master, PhD. it is a presentation on your research work. However, when you go, for example, however, even though I'm a PhD student, so if I go to any conference or presentation out there with other people, organization, maybe we call it as a conference, but in school, we call it as Viva. Okay, Viva. So why they said they might be tired, okay? Don't be surprised for Viva, it can take up to 6 hours, okay? Especially for PhD, it can take up to 6 hours of your presentation or what we call as a Viva. So you need to keep in mind that sometimes not only you, maybe the audience or maybe your examiner or those experts, senior expert will be tired. So you need to remember them. So you need to know actually how to engage with your audience. So mm, I haven't done my Viva, PhD Viva last presentation because I haven't finished yet. Okay, so for my defense, we have this project, or it's not project, this phase actually where we call as proposal defense. Okay, so proposal defense is actually for higher research. We have this thing as proposal defense. That means we need to do presentation only on our proposal, not the whole thing. So even though for my proposal defense, it's only like a proposal, but last time for my PhD, last time it took 3 hours. Me present alone took 3 hours. So you can expect what I how it will be for 3 hours, me alone, 3 hours. So we need to remember the student might be tired. Okay, so I think for degree, you doesn't need a hmm hmm sorry. So yeah, let me proceed. Luckily, it's only page 5. So keep in mind that they might be tired. So like I said just now, even though for proposal defense, 3 hours already, so your final presentation may take up to 6 hours. So for degree student, I don't think, because yeah, I don't think we need to do the proposal defense. But for FYP, usually it will take time. Actually, for your degree student, degree right? So yeah, for degree student for your FYP. Mm, oh yeah, by the way, for this lecture and the next chapter, actually I will touch a lot. It's like it's not briefing. It's like I will tell a bit about your FYP or what should you expect from your FYP. Okay, so yeah, we'll use the term or we'll give situation based on your FYP. Okay, so for your degree, I don't think you need the proposal defense, but for your presentation, for your FYP, there are two. Actually, for your FYP, you can do it your individually or you can do in group. But remember, when you do in group, we as the examiner, we will expect more input from you because a group, of course, there are more people. So we expect more input from you. Some students, they prefer to have like, okay, let's do our FYP together. Sure, can. But it is, I won't say it is very dangerous, but the examiner or we as a lecturer, I know these two students, my degree student, they will expect more actually the input from us. So it is, I won't say dangerous, but yeah, it's up to you guys actually. So if you think that you can work well with your friend, so yeah, you can do group. But if you think that you are good to work alone for your research, then you can work alone. Okay, but one thing also you need to know when you're doing work with your friend, it is like FYP, sometimes it can be, I won't say FIV is stressful. No, I won't say because it is not. Research is not stressful. Reading paper is not stressful. But you need to know that FYP, when you're working with your friend, sometimes there will be conflict that might occur. Or, yeah, you're not agree on the same thing. So there's actually concern on when you do FYP in group. Okay, so that's too far actually from this point. So yeah, like I said, the time of your FYP, they might be tired. Okay, second, this is very important. We need to keep in mind that our audience, people there in that room, they know how to read. They can read. That's why it is crucial actually in a presentation. we need to engage with our audience. So it is a skill actually when we do presentation, especially on research, because research can be boring sometimes. Yeah, research can be boring sometimes. So we need to know how to engage with people. So we doesn't need to read, for example, your PowerPoint or any material that you want to present. You need to know. I think, yeah, we know this that they can read. So try to take or try to make an approach how that so they can engage with us. Okay, you doesn't need to read for them because they know how to read. Okay, so we need, okay, here they are thinking, why should I listen? Okay, so here, then I need to move again. Guys, can I have 1 minute? Because 1 minute, I need to move my charger. Battery. Charger. I need charger. Eh, eh. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's hospital too. I'm at the clinical by the way, right? So the view is quite nice up here. So let's me proceed with our, let me proceed. So just now, why should I listen? Yeah, they're thinking, why should I listen? I think this is very normal, even though in this class. So you are wondering now here in this at this very moment, some of the student might be wonder, why should I listen to her? Okay, so you need to make your point. I need to make my point that this is important for your FYP. Okay, so when you're presenting for your Viva, when you're presenting for your Viva, you need to know to highlight important things that people should know. So yeah, why should I listen? You need to think. You need to view from their perspective. Why should you listen to your own presentation? Okay, so this is non-expert will tune off within 2 minutes. That's mean after your presentation, or it's not after, during your presentation, the, what do we call it? Attention. Yeah, the attention for non-expert student or people public will only up to 2 minutes. Expert is 5 minutes. Okay, so what can you do? Okay, so sometimes in your Viva presentation, Viva in your presentation, maybe for your FYP later, sometimes your, because this is, I saw it, I already been there in that position actually, and I saw some of my friend there. When you're presenting, actually some of your examiner or your, maybe even your supervisor, they won't even look at you. Okay, they will play with your phone. Like you will feel like, why am I here? Like, why am I standing here? No one will listen to me. My advice to you, just keep on presenting. Just keep on present what your research is. Okay. Sometimes that's very normal. People is not interested with your research. No one will listen to you. So sometimes, like, I saw a few times already, the examiner, the supervisor is not there. They won't even look at you. They will play and scroll their phone. I'm not sure what they're scrolling, or I'm not sure what they're looking, but sometimes people won't even look at you. Okay. So my advice, just keep on presenting. Okay. Second, the next one is, what can you do? Any question? Can I proceed? I think some of you have, I think some of you have hospital experience or have some basic experience on research or FYP, but some of you are still new, right? So maybe this one or this lecture, this topic can be can tell you a bit what is research actually. Okay, so what can you do? So first is early motivation. Okay, motivation is very important, not only in your viva, I think in your study as well, motivation, but it is very normal. It is very normal, especially for a long research like me. It is very normal. Sometimes I feel so motivated to do. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to do anything. That is very normal. Okay, don't blame yourself on that. That is very normal. And then at the beginning of your talk, motivate your research with easy to understand example. Okay, this one is early motivation in research, in your presentation, in your viva. At the beginning of your talk, you need to motivate. You need to tackle their attention so that they will engage with your process or with your presentation. Okay, so you need to use some simple terms or some, you need to find a approach actually how to engage with them to tackle their attention. Okay, spoil the punchline. State your results earlier in or state your results early and in simple terms. This one you can write or you can present or you can talk so I assume you know what is abstract already, right? So not too detailed, but try to them actually. So for my research is this. For example, my research is on autism and technology. So I need to tell them what is the research actually. I, hmm. So yeah, so I said you need to state what is your early result of your research and try to put it in a simple terms. And next is visual. Okay, visual. This is very important. Like I said, your research usually it is mm, in a text form. Okay, research. Even though you read an article, right? It is in a text form. So you need to know how to make it more interesting by using some visual. Visual, for example, your data that you get, you can change into, for example, your assignment. You you convert your data to pie what pie chart, or bar chart. But for your FYP, of course, there's more visual that you can use or illustrate your idea with image and diagram. Okay. Mm, yeah. So and then second is leave them with this thought. Okay. Okay, leave them with this thought. I understood what the problem was and why it was important. Okay, so from your early introduction, like I said just now, we need to tell them, okay, or even from your presentation, your whole presentation, you need to leave them with this thought, which means you need to, yeah, you need to highlight this part. It's not highlight. Yeah, we need to leave them with this thought. So I understood what the problem was and why it was important. So in a research, like I said, in a research, like I said, um, you can't duplicate or you cannot copy others' work. And that is so wrong. That is not even a research. So you need to tell them what is the novelty. So I mentioned this term novelty before, so if you still do not understand, you can go and search. So novelty is actually the originality of your work. So you need to tell people why your work is different with others' work. What is the difference? Even though you think that your research is the same with other research, so the novelty, you need to mention them. Okay, so for example, let's take, let me think again, whose group? Noel, let's take them, their group again. Noel group. They have this one assignment which is same with it's not same actually. They have this one article already published that have same focus of area with them. But the novelty of their work, which they need to tell later in their presentation, which is next week, they need to tell that the novelty of their work is the time of they collect the data. So that is the difference. So you need to tell me later in your next week. So actually there's already a paper conducted already research for this one. But the difference is we collect data is from this period of time, which is, yeah, you need to tell me what is the difference, which is this year. The time of data is this year. Okay, so we need to tell them it is very important. If not, they will think, why should they listen to your research? It's already there. They can refer to the previous research. And then I have an idea of what her solution was and how it was different, better than others. Okay, so this one is the same. How it is different from others. Okay, so like I said, if not, people will wonder, why should I listen to them? It's already there. I can refer to the previous work, or I can like, yeah, refer to the first article. Okay. Next is she knows the literature. Literature is actually the LR. So quote my work and we might collaborate on this aspect of her research. Okay. I think I already informed you guys few times already. LR is very crucial. In your FYP, even in your article, I think LR should be the longest part in your article compared to other parts. So for your thesis is like a book. It's like a report actually. So we call it as a thesis. So in a thesis, FY in your thesis, your LR usually the longest part. It is a standalone chapter. Okay, chapter one is all the objective research question, research hypothesis, everything. But LR is a standalone. That means it is there. So I assume you know already how to write a bit of LR. So why LR is very crucial? Because in LR we tell the people exactly in detail which part that we do for our research. So it is crucial because some of the researcher maybe only read on LR. So from that LR, they know which area that you have in common, which area that your research is intercept with her research or his research. So it is something that common area, or there is some part that maybe intercept with their research. So it can be for future research. Okay, it the research can be used for future work with other researcher for collaboration. Okay, collaboration is uh, I think you know what's collaboration. That's mean you work together on that research, but of course on the different thing. Okay. Next is use example. Okay, example is actually a weapon to it is actually a weapon or method or approach actually. So example can use to motivate your work. Okay, motivate your work. It is easy actually if we give example to people on what our research is. Okay, second, illustrate the basic intuition. Okay, tell them from the foundation, basic. Okay, explain them. Like I said, we cannot assume the people read our paper. We cannot assume the people know what our research is. So we need to tell them all of this. And then show your solution in action, which is baby problem. Baby problem is here. It can be referring to your sub. That's mean, like I said, even you break into sub problem or in the small problem, the basic thing. So we need to show them in very detail. Okay, highlight extreme cases or shortcoming. Okay, here also very important. Don't be afraid in your research. No one will shoot you on this if you think this is shortcoming. Is like this is a, I think you know what is shortcoming. So don't be afraid if you think that you have any shortcomings, or if you think that you need or you have a problem with your research. Don't be afraid to explain them. Don't be afraid to highlight them in your research or in your thesis or maybe in your article for this assignment too, because that part is very crucial for other researchers to read and capture the gap of your research so that they can present or that they can do for their next research. Okay, so you need to highlight them. So for example, your shortcoming for your research is only focusing on the TAR UC student. Okay, so you can highlight them. So me, maybe if I want to go for further research or I want to do further research, I can use that gap. I can tag the gap. So if you are running out of time, cut the general case, not the example. Okay, general case is mm, Why they say if you're running out of time? Because in presentation you have time. Actually, for example, for PhD, if already up to 6 hours and you still cannot finish your presentation, you need to know which part or which part that you can cut out from your presentation. Okay, usually it is the general case because the detailed thing is very important. Okay. Mm. Oh, Miss, for this presentation, which is next week, what is the maximum you have? Okay, for this subject, because one group you have 3%, and then if I'm not mistaken from my list, there are 5 or 4 group. So I assume one group will take 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so within that 15 and 20 minutes, that one is including Q&A. But usually, for even for degree student, even though I think I can expect this too, for your presentation next week, it exceed 20 minutes. Okay, so expect that and be prepared for that. Okay, this one I will talk later after this topic about your presentation next week. Okay, so where were you? So here people will get lost during your talk or even those who are listening. Okay, like I said, maybe they will physically leave your room, leave the Viva room, or maybe their attention. Okay, so um, so here what you can do is have a running outline of the main steps of your idea more than the talk itself. Okay, you need to highlight what is your point, what you're talking about. Okay, second is usual visual clue. Visual clue to highlight where you are in the process. That means it's like visual clue here is referring, for example, if you have a chart diagram of your research, you need to highlight. Okay, so here I'm talking about this part now. For example, okay, now I'm talking about my uh, literature review. So in this literature review, now I'm talking about this maybe MCO or what the sub part in your LR. Next, present at the beginning of each step. Okay, present it at the beginning of each step. This one, that's mean before you go to that part, you need to tell them. So now I'm going to talk about, I'm talking about this right now. Okay, so that they are aware what you're talking about or which step or which level already. Okay, pre-processing, filtering, texture extraction, decision trees, and classification. Okay, this one can be used or this method, this process or diagram can be used to use or can be used for your presentation for your Viva. Okay, so I won't go into each of these because each of these is actually, for example, classification, decision tree, texture extraction, filtration, and pre-processing is a subject or it's a domain of knowledge actually. Okay, so I won't go touch on this. However, the point of this slide is actually tell us to know in which step or in which, it's not step, in which part already that we are talking about for our LR. Okay, so next here, related work. So I want to ask you guys, since you already done your assignment, related work, where do you think that you should park them? I mean, park, P-A-R-K, park them in your assignment, in your research, FYP or article, where it should go for related work. Where do you think it should go? Helvin, where do you think? Helvin, Daniel, Konkenshak, where do you think they should go for LR, for related work? Of Vincent, where do you think your related work should go? Related work is usually article. So article should go to where in your assignment? In your article. Article should go where in your part of your article. If you, for example, if you read my article, yeah, LR, it should go to LR. So related work should go or you should park them in LR. Okay. So here, be familiar with all related work. Okay. for me in research, when you're doing research, pure research, like my research, autism and technology, that is the domain actually. Of course, I have a specific title, but the domain is autism and technology. So here, be familiar with all related work. However, I will disagree with this statement. Why? Because of course there are many related work out there. It is impossible for me to know all the related work. But what I can do is I need to be familiar with um, many. It's not all, but I won't say all because it is impossible for you to read them out there. For example, if you think that you already finished today everything, then there will be more related work that related to your research. So read as much as you can. So for your Viva or for your presentation next week, I have a very good advice to you guys. So read before your presentation. At least try to know some knowledge. I won't say some because that's your research. Try to read as much as possible. Okay, related that is related to your work. Okay, because some of the examiner, for example, me, of course I won't say of course I already read, but before your presentation, I will read your article. So I will do some internet surfing. I will do some research. It's not research. I will go some like internet surfing actually on your research. So I will ask you guys. Okay, not only for, but of course I won't be harsh to you, but at least you should know this. You should be familiar with what you are doing. Okay, so here, don't list each paper that we read. Okay, don't list each paper letter for your FYP. Like I said, don't list them out. Don't write them all of them because every paper, each of the paper doesn't mean that we need them. Okay. For example, I read this 10 paper. So this 10 paper may not related at all to our research. So we doesn't need to write them. We doesn't need to include them. Yeah. So like I said, one of my professor for his PhD, he reads like thousands of I don't maybe even more thousands of paper, but only like 500 that he can uh, pull for his research in his LR. So don't list each paper that you read because sometimes it is not relevant, it is not related at all. So next is mainly talk about result. So mainly talk about results that are immediately related to what you did. Okay, mainly talk about result or the outcome of your research immediately related to what you did. Okay, and then reference at the end. Reference, I think you know reference at the end of the talk or better the paper itself. Okay, this one, don't get confused. It is very important of us to tell them, or for example in our presentation it is very important to tell them. Okay, so for example, let's okay, for example in your presentation you need to tell, okay, based on this guy, commuters is this thing. So you need to give the definition based on this guy, but you doesn't need to highlight his the reference because you will list out the reference at the end of the paper or at the end of your presentation. Okay, acknowledge co-author. Okay, co-author is those who are involved in your present research but not, or those who are involved in your research but not the main author. I think you know this thing too. Co, that means they are not the main, however, they still have some contribution to your paper. Okay. Before we move to the next slide, I want to explain a bit on your LR for your LR related work for your FYP. So actually, when writing your LR, when writing your literature review or related work, where we will pack inside your LR. Actually, how to know if that paper is relevant or not to your research is. Okay, for example, um, okay, for example, this group, Daniel group on their research, if I'm not mistaken, is Malaysian perception towards the government in terms of financial and safety, if I'm not mistaken. That's the title. Okay, so for example, if I want to do future research based on their research, I should read And of course, I should put their research, not copy. Of course, there is method to write LR. You cannot copy the LR, but I will capture their research paper or their article into my LR. Okay, so I will highlight whatever the gap in their research. So I will state that this is the gap that I will cover for my research. Okay, that's how you write LR. Not only one gap, of course, you need to find as much as you can so that you can cover them. But it actually depends on your research. Okay, but you need to know the concept of research, not copying, not duplicate of other work. Okay, LR is related work. LR is the, like I said, I highlight so many times, crucial. It is very, very, very important. Okay, sometimes for actually you guys, um, okay, actually I think for your class it's quite. I won't say maybe the syllabus. I think PRUC is they do a good thing by introduce you guys this subject before your FYP. For my degree time, we don't have this subject. It's mean on our final year we directly do research. That's why we learn research or FYP in hard way. Now, for some supervisor, because every student should be or will be assigned or they will propose their lecturer. So some supervisor they are very nice. They will tell you to do this, do this, do this, do this, and do this. They will guide you. For some supervisor too, I think I talk too much about supervisor. But yeah, you will find this out later too. So for some supervisor, they won't guide you. They will tell you, okay, this is the research. Okay, what is your progress? What is your problem? They won't like tell you, I think you should do this. Instead of this, why not you do this? Okay, so okay, it's another thing. So LR is very crucial. And your subject too for this research method class, like I said, you guys are very lucky because you have this subject. Okay, I only learned this subject during my master study. So yeah, usually for this course research method, it is boring. Last time my class was 6 hours non-stop. You guys are only 3 hours, so that's okay. My time we have 6 hours. I do not know how my professor can talk up to 6 hours every week. Okay, next is technical details in or out. Okay, technical details in or out. Okay, first look at this. Fine line. Okay, so present specific aspect that show the meat of your work. This one is actually the detail on what you are doing. Okay, and then leave the rest out. If you're convincing, they will read your paper. Okay, like I said, you cannot assume our audience. We can't even assume that usually your examiner, your supervisor will read your paper, but the other audience, we can't assume that they read our paper. So we need to convince them. We need to convince them so that they can read or they will read our paper. Okay. So don't fill up your slides with lots of equation. This is the thing I said just now. You do not present the whole thing. For example, if you have 10 equation, you doesn't need to present that 10 equation in your slide, in your presentation during your Viva. Okay, you just need to plug out something that you think it is important for them to know. The others you can explain. And then prepare backup slides to answer questions. Leave them at the end of the presentation. Prepare backup slides to answer the question. For degree student, okay, let's be transparent here. Usually for you, for us too, last time we only have one slide. We doesn't have prepare backup slide. Okay, this one prepare backup slide to answer question is what you can predict. Okay, you can predict what will be the question. You can expect what will be the question. So you have that backup slide to answer question. Okay. Next is the skeleton. Okay, the skeleton. What is the problem? Motivation and goals, relevant state of the art. What is your key idea? What is your approach? What I just said and what I want to do next. Okay, this all should include in or you should do in your Viva or in your presentation. Okay. Okay, this one is for this one. I don't think I want to explain because this one is straightforward. Okay, motivation is the reason why you want to keep on doing your research or your presentation. Goal is your objective. Relevant state of the art. Okay, maybe you want to include some, like I said, diagram or chart so that they are aware of your step of your process. And then key, this one is the key idea or contribution. Like I said, contribution is your novelty. What is your research contribution? Okay, why is your approach or good or better? You need to explain. For example, you come out with this research. It is an approach. So, for example, for my master, I said I do research for, my research was on game learning application with gamification. So I need to tell them why is my application is better or what is the novelty of my gaming learning application. Yeah. And then what I just said and what I want to do next. Okay. You need to recap and you need to highlight what you can do or what you want to do next. Okay. Oh, before I move to this part, there is one more thing I think you guys are not aware of this research. I want to ask because I've seen, I think, one of you in your research or in your document that you sent to me, you said the research and development, R&D. So what do you think? What is development in our research? There's one student actually, R&D, they mentioned that, he mentioned the R&D. Hmm, I want to tell you guys, in research, there are two type of research, okay? I'm talking about our computer science field. There are two type of research. First is on research, purely on research. That means you doesn't need to develop anything. For example, your research, your assignment, your article. That is the research where we call as pure research. You doesn't need to develop anything, okay? No application, no framework, nothing. It's only on pure research. However, for R&D, there's a guy here actually used that term last time. I almost asked him, what is the development for your research? But I think he didn't know what's the term. So actually, there's another thing that you can do for your FYP, which is research and development. Okay. So like I said, two things, two type, research and development. So research and development is actually a research. Okay, my master FYP, master FYP, no, my master research was on R&D. Why it is R&D? Because I did research on the gaming application and learning application. All the stuff is under research, and I developed a mobile application for learning that use the gamification. That is development. So if you want to use the R&D, if you want to use the R&D term, if you want to use the development term at the end of your research, you need to be very careful. If in the that guy, you know who you are, you should be prepared. If you have that term development, I will expect some development from you. Okay, so be careful with that. So I recap back for your FYP, you have two types. First is research, pure research. Pure research is what you are doing. Okay, what you are doing now here in your article, in this subject. While research and development is you need to do research, you need to do research and plus development, some development. Maybe from your research you can develop something. I don't know, it can be software, it can be application, it can be anything as long as it is a development. Okay, so you should know for your FYP, maybe you can plan ahead. But for your article, for this course research method, all of you, I can say all because I assume, except that one particular student, maybe the group, all of you are doing pure research, no development. Okay, if you want to do, sure, but okay. And then that one is the another knowledge that I share with you guys is now back to this presentation, delivering the talk. Okay, be enthusiastic. If you ask why should be the audience be, that means you need to be. Actually, you need to keep your motivation to talk. Actually, you need to keep your motivation to deliver your presentation. Okay, if you are not interested in your research, why they should interested? if you're not interested with your research, with your presentation, then why do you think the audience should be? Okay, make eye contact with the audience. Okay, sometimes, like I said, this is very hard. Sometimes people won't even look at you. Okay, sometimes even your supervisor, him or herself, they won't even look at you. But like I said, my advice to you as a senior student in research, keep on presenting. Okay, it's up to them. They want to listen or not. That's their work to do. Okay, make eye contact, and then identify a few nodes. I think you know the people who like respond to you, and speak to them. Try to engage or try to create try to communicate with them. Okay, ask them, don't really like ask them, but like try to communicate with them. Okay, to make them engage. At least you know there are some people engaged mm, in your presentation. Okay, so these people actually for students, these people usually they're friends. For example, I want to present for my degree, I want to present for my FYP. So I will call my best friend. I will say, can you come? So at least, because like I said, sometimes the examiner supervisor don't want to look at you, but at least maybe your friend, your best friend, um, will come and give the support to you. Okay, that is how to keep your motivation actually. And then watch for questions. Okay, be prepared to digress or brush off when irrelevant. Okay, so you need to expect this. Be prepared to digress or brush off when irrelevant. Okay, it's not like really. It's not really irrelevant actually. I think when you want to do your presentation, when you want to do your presentation, you, of course you prepare your slide so you know what you want to talk. It is not irrelevant. I think in this context, I think what it's trying to say is be prepared for question when you think that you're explaining things that people do not know. For example, just now I said about viva, so I expect that you do not know what viva, so I need to be prepared to how to explain them. Okay, and then here delivering the talk. Okay, here is actually on the face-to-face presentation. Okay, point at the screen, not the computer. Okay, mm, point at the screen, not the computer. That's mean when you're presenting, of course you will point at your computer. I mean you have that device actually. Usually for PhD or master, usually you have that. I think your lecture, I think you know this too. There's like a device so that you can point direct to the slide, not to the slide, not to the computer. Okay, do not read directly from your PowerPoint or your notes. Okay, it's already said they know how to read. Your audience can read, so why should you read it? Why should you read for them? Instead of reading, you should explain. Okay, have the spiel for the first couple of slides memorized in case you go blank. Okay, have the spiel of the first couple of slides memorized in case you go blank. For degree, Kelvin Shak almost with 13 already, right? You asked me a question that I didn't expect. Last time you asked me, can crack imaginary problem. Now you said they ask their friends to ask question. I don't want to comment on this, but yeah. So most of the slide for face to face, yes. Usually for presentation Viva, for now I'm aware. Oh, it's raining. I'm aware that it's for because I'm aware. I think last few week presentation for like this one online. But most of this slide for face to face. Yes, for face to face. Okay. This one, if I actually we cannot plan, but you know what to do when you have to do it. Okay, I will skip this part. Okay, let's proceed with our next one. Okay, have the spill. That means you need to, of course, you need. It's not only the first couple of slide. Actually, for your whole slide, you need to be prepared before you present and finish in time. However, this is sometimes it's very hard to avoid. Like I said, for your assignment, 15 to 20 minutes. It can up to 30 minutes. Okay, for my master last time, only 30 minutes, but it's up to 3 hours. For my PhD last time, 3 hours. So yeah, finish in time, but sometimes this is hard to tackle. Okay, this one is based on the situation. So handling question. Yeah. So if no COVID, we present in the campus. You mean for your FYP or for your this subject? For this subject, which is next week, I don't think campus. But for FYP, yes, you need to do face-to-face presentation. Yeah, face-to-face presentation. So, um, actually, it is very normal. But I think you guys are all boys. I'm not sure if you cry. I don't know. For girls, usually for FYP show, we will cry. Sometimes, for even for PhD, like I said, up to 6 hours, right? So many things can happen within that 6 hours. Some of us may cry, some of us may almost pengsan during the presentation. That is very normal. But for your subject, particularly our research method, yeah, 6 hours of presentation. That's normal. Like I said, 6 hours for presentation. And that's 6 hours, of course, including the Q&A. I repeat, 6 hours, not only me talking alone. So 6 hours, not me talking alone. This is between the committee or the people. Q&A. Okay. I have yes, it's wow. Yeah. And then this one, I have two perspective actually for Fair Vincent. Miss, your previous FYP, do you present in front of your classmate or just lecture? Mm, I have two perspective to answer this question. First, let me answer last time. I answered this question as a student. Okay, last time, as a student, of course, there's some things that you already planned ahead, like Kelvin Shark did just now. Okay, but that one is this answer is as a student. I cannot as a lecturer. Okay, so last time my FYP, I only tell one of my best friend to come because I know my supervisor or my examiner might not be looking at me. So I told my best friend to come. I told my best friend to come, and yeah, we did plan something, of course, which I don't want to expand on that part. So I tell them to come, but I told my best friend, one my best friend to come, but I told my close friend to not to come because I I should think, what should I say? Because my best friend, I can plan ahead with her, but my whole classmate, I cannot plan with them. So there will be more question from my friend. So I try to avoid them. Okay, that one is as a student. But as a lecturer, you need to tell your friend to come actually. Because that friend can help you. Maybe they can ask question that you think you never think before. So it is important. No, 3 hours is not that long actually. When you're already presenting, 3 hours is not that long actually. So yeah. No, Jonathan Ian, you should take. It's not that hard actually. Trust me, master and PhD is not that hard as long as you want to commit. Actually, I think Jonathan Ian, I think from this 13 weeks already, right? I'm aware of your. So I'm aware of your progress and I know how you work. I think you have a feature in master. So proceed if you have option. Not only 6 hours. 6 hours is for some cases up to 6 hours. Not necessary. I mentioned here already. Finish in time. Like I said, this one we cannot control. We cannot control. Not necessarily 6 hours, but can up to 6 hours. But I expect that too for my final viva. Even though for my defense, 3 hours just for proposal. Okay. Don't because of my words just now you don't want to continue. Okay, not necessarily 6 hours, depend on time, but can up to 6 hours. Okay. Here, handling question. So let me proceed. Handling question. So handling question. Guys, 1 second. Yeah, so let's proceed. Sorry. So here, handling question. Okay. Question is usually, I know we have a part or in a presentation, usually we have Q&A. Q&A is usually at the end of your presentation. However, during your presentation, you expect to have a question. Yeah, expect to have a question. For some examiner, especially examiner lah, examiner that supervisor too. For some no, it's usually examiner. examiner, it can be your supervisor too. They can ask you question in the middle of your presentation. Okay, so you need to prepare for a question. And then different type, handle accordingly. Okay, you need to know what kind of question they will ask you. You need to know that what the what answer what answer that you should address. So you need to clarify, suggest something helpful, want to engage in research dialogue, and show that it's better than you. Okay, so there's actually different type of question that you can ask. Okay, for example, need clarification. Need clarification is need clarification. Need clarification is actually a question like this. This is clarification. This is clarification. Okay, clarification. That's why you do. That's a clarification, or you need to explain. Okay, and then suggest something helpful. They might ask you, what is the suggest something helpful. Okay, they might ask you for your opinion. What do you think can be done to improve this? Okay, suggest something helpful, and then they want to engage in your research dialogue. Research dialogue is your communication between the presenter and the audience, so they want to involve with the dialogue. And then this one is the some type of people actually, even not in presentation, I'm aware this one in student too. They want to show that they want to show that they are better than you. Okay, they want to ask something that maybe trigger you or provoke you to show them that they are better than you. Okay, one thing that you need to know. Remember, like I said, research is your work. That means you are the you are the person, you are the scientist to your work. No one know better than you. Okay, so for this kind of people, mm, I'm not sure actually what they think, because they want to show that they're better than you. Maybe this kind of people, they forgot that this research is not their research. This research is my research. So if they want to provoke or trigger you, this is happen actually in research. This is especially for open or public conference or public viva. Okay, they want to show them that they are better than you, they know things better than you, but not wrong. We should know our research better than them. Okay. Anticipate question. Okay, this one for additional slide that I said just now. We expect what should be the question, then let them hijack the talk. Okay, this one is very dangerous, especially when they are hijack, conquer the talk, your presentation. This one is actually when you have, or when you involve the professor, senior expert, the scientist or senior lecturer. Okay, don't let them hijack the talk. That means they do the talking more than you. They explain more than you. Okay, this thing happened to me one time during my semester presentation for my PhD. There are four people, me and my committee, three of them. So these three is all already senior, already expert scientists. So I present, I think within only 20 minutes, but the presentation take up to 3 hours. So you deduct 3 hours, you deduct with 30 minutes, the other minute is them talking between themselves. Okay, that was that time when I was still a noob. Okay, so they hijacked my presentation. But for me, that's okay because I know they have good intention. I get input from them. Okay, but in your Viva, in your letter presentation next week, don't let any student hijack your presentation. That means they take over, they conquer, they explain better than your group. Okay, and to the student too, don't try to do this too, because if I see anyone to try to hijack other group or try to I'm not saying that you cannot ask question. You can ask question, but this is not a good attitude actually. Why you want to hijack? That is not your presentation. If you want to hijack them, be prepared on your group then. Okay. This one is how can I get better? Any question? So many things can possible. Okay. So many things can possible in the presentation. They can ask you to stop. They can ask you to extend. They can ask for a break. It's up to the people. I heard too from my professor, but I never see it like really with my own eyes. Some people really pengsan during the viva because too long and too many questions, so they cannot take it anymore. So they just pengsan. Okay. So how can I get better for presentation? Okay. This one. Um, how can I get better? Practice every chance you get. Okay, practice every chance you get. For my supervisor, for my lecturer, because she is actually I want to share with you guys. I have a very good supervisor. She is actually a new lecturer last time during my study time, during my degree time. She is we are the first batch on her time. So I do not know why. For some reason during degree, master and PhD, I stick with her. I do not know why. Maybe I like the way she works. She is new last time, not now. She mm, I think in her career development as a lecturer, she have that I don't know what the term. I mean within a few years only she already get the title of senior lecturer. So she was a fresher. She's from the industry from I do not know where government department I do not know, but yeah she was the first. We was the first batch actually. So I do not know, but I think I like the way she work, and then she's very good. She's very helpful. Okay, so actually before our viva, with the examiner and people, student, viva, final viva, she will do, what she will do to us is, of course, she will do weekly presentation to us. Eh, not to us, we will do presentation to her. We will present what we already have. Even though we don't have for example, yeah, let me honest, not every week I will have a progress. Yeah, guys, can I have like 1 minute, 5 minute break? Sorry, hi guys, sorry. So can I proceed? Guys, are you there? Or you just take really 5 minutes? I think some of you bah. I know how to say bah already. Okay, so here let me proceed on the presentation for your for your viva and for your maybe for your next week. So like I said, my supervisor, what she did was every week we need to present to Of course, we need to present. It's not present, like we show her what we already get or what already have. So she will tell us what can be done to improve actually, or what input that you can. She will give you input actually, us last time. So before presentation, I think she is the only lecturer who will ask us to do a mock presentation. So a mock presentation is a presentation that you do before your final presentation, a real presentation. It's like a practice. I think 2 or 3 times already. Yes, already. She will do, or she will do, or she will ask you to do presentation for 2 or 3 times. So for your presentation letter for this subject, research method, I don't think that it's up to you guys. But for me, no, it's up to you guys actually. But yeah, your presentation don't be, it's, I mean, your next presentation won't be as hard as your FYP. So if you don't want to do mock test or practice to present, that's okay, that's cool. But for your FYP, I strongly suggest you guys to do a mock presentation. Okay, you can request, because like I said, not all supervisor will ask you to do this mock thing. Okay, you better request to your supervisor, Miss or Doctor, can I present to you first so that I know I can practice ahead. Okay, so practice. And then second is observe others. Okay, observe others. Still good presentation ideas. Notice all the things that turn you off. Okay, this one is by observing other presentation, or maybe observing other candidate, other student viva. Okay, attend. Like I said, you need to attend actually your viva or your friend viva. Attend their viva. See how they present. Okay, you can get some input maybe from their presentation, and you need to aware to what is the thing that will turn you off, or the thing that will uh that the thing that you shouldn't do in your presentation. Okay, seek comments from friends and mentors. Actually, mentors should come first before friends. Mentors is your lecturer. Okay, friends, maybe of course you need your friends for the ideas, but again, mentors or your supervisor need to give more input than your friend. This is very important. Ask them, like I said, maybe you can request to do your mock test from your supervisor. But final already. So this is the last slide actually for presentation. So actually, like I said, for this chapter, it is mostly I will talk about your FYP. FYP, yeah, FYP. So I think that's all about presentation. But if you think no lah, not 6 hours. 6 hours can up to 6 hours, not exactly 6 hours. It can be more, it can be less. Okay, so Jonathan, Ian, don't be demotivated with what I said. I can be wrong. I think I'm wrong too. So you should proceed with your master. Yeah, not necessary. But I'm looking for something actually. Finish in time. This is the one I said. They have time actually. But this one is very hard to tackle. It can, but this one, Noel, 6 hours, up to 6 hours for PhD. For degree, the longest I think it's only degree. Degree. Your level is 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Okay. 40 minutes for degree. 6 hours is for the PhD. Okay. For degree, nanti some of you don't want to proceed because I said PhD up to 6 hours, degree up to 40 minutes. Usually for degree, they will set, for example, I think they will set one student, no, one presentation. Like I said, it can be student, it can be group. Okay. So it can be 40 minutes, 30 minutes, or 15 minutes. It's up to your university college. Okay, prepare to present that long. Usually presentation, Usually presentation will only like 15 minutes. For example, let's take degree, okay? Let's take degree FY, let's take FYP. Let's take FYP. So it will usually 30 to 40 minutes. Usually for your presentation is only 15 minutes. You presentation that's mean one way communication. You tell people, you present people. But the longest part will be on your Q&A. Okay? Q&A. Okay? Up to 40 minutes for degree. Okay? If you want to talk about degree FYP 6 hours, there's nothing much to talk actually. Okay, so like I said in your presentation, if you have the thing I mentioned just now, research and development. Okay, this one is for degree 2, research and development. So if research, you just present your research. For research and development, yes, if you use that term research and development, you need to present your application. You need to show the audience. For example, for example, I developed a mobile application last time. So during my presentation, I show them my mobile application. Okay, so usually that's why it will be long because the Q&A session. Okay, but I think for degree student too, I won't say that for FYP, I won't say that your lecture won't be uh, I'm not, this is true. Not all lecturer will be generous to student. This is very true. Some they will be very strict. They will shoot you. That's a term that we will use in presentation, FYP, Viva, for degree. Okay? Some they will shoot you because this thing happen. Your supervisor can be the person that I said. Your supervisor is the person who will guide you. Who will guide you. Your supervisor is the person who will guide you. Examiner is another lecturer that will be there in your research, but there is she or he is the lecturer that is not. They will examine your research. So your mark will be from your supervisor and your examiner. Okay, your mark will be from your supervisor and examiner. Some actually, as a student, me last time during degree, I really hope my supervisor is the person who will help me. Okay, but yes, she helped me. But for some cases, for my friend, the supervisor is the lecturer that shoot him during his viva. Okay, so if your supervisor have many questions to ask, then yeah, as I said, you need to know how to choose your supervisor actually for FYP. And another thing, I think good advice to you guys. Uh, Actually, when you're doing your FYP for degree, master and PhD, we do not say FYP. It is a research. For your FYP, uh, choose the supervisor that you think have that background in that area of research. For example, I have a professor in my university who is focusing on game. He taught us already since our second year. He mentioned to us, he said, if you're not doing game, if you're not interested with a research in gaming, don't come and look for me. I will reject because that is area of interest. He's interested in gaming, so he want to develop game. He want to do research in gaming. So that is very important. Don't randomly pick supervisor. You should know the strength of your supervisor, and you should know them how they work too. Very very important. Supervisor is very very important. Okay. So what is our next? I should check actually. Ethical issue. This one is more to. This should be our last slide. 9 slide only. Okay, so before we move, do you have any concern or any question that you want to ask regarding FYP? Anything that you want to ask? If actually this was my, because you guys are still second year, right? Second year and first year, not the final year. Usually FYP will be on the final year. I'm not sure with this college, yes, yet I'm not sure. So at least try to get some idea on what you want to do. Okay, try to get generally, you mean number of page? LR content is generally how much? Is it Do you mean the number of page? Ah, okay. First we go to page. Okay, like I said, LR is a chapter. LR is a chapter, chapter 2. So usually for thesis that for example, you need to write a thesis with 100 pages. So LR usually will take up to 50, 60, 50 or 60 pages. Or is it too much? 40, 40 page of LR. For the sub-chapters, it is depend on your research title. Sometimes you have sub chapter. Okay, so that's why sometimes, it's not sometimes, usually student will take FYP. I'm talking about FYP because this is related to FYP. So this course actually research method is like introduction before you do your FYP. Okay, so that's why I'm talking about FYP. So FYP, I know this because I took this subject to FYP. Usually student will stress on this subject FYP because first, like I said, research. Some students do not interested to research, do not interested to read patch, do not interested to do the reading. Half, of course, content other chapter, but usually it's not half. But I can say like 40% of your FYP report or what we call as what we call as a thesis, 40% will be on LR. Okay, will be on your LR. Mm, that's why I said, mm, what is it I just know? I said important for you to have like do, but do early preparation. Know or have that target what area you should do. So during your FYP, you won't during your final year. I don't know during the year that you do your FYP, you won't be stressed. Okay, FYP is this is not there are no exam for this course. I think you know this too. No exam for final year project, but it can be stressful to some student. So what I suggest, especially to the boys, I know you guys don't like to read some. Do early, like try to do early. Don't delay too much thing, like what you did in your article for this assignment. Okay. Uh, for some student, I will say bright student, some smart student, they will propose early of their research. But that one is of course need a discussion between the student and the lecturer. Okay, you will propose. Propose is actually a process where you want to. I'm not sure again. Like I repeat, I'm not sure for TAR. You see, if you will be assigned to a lecture or you need to propose your lecture. I'm not sure yet. People haven't briefed me about that, so I'm not sure. So for some smart student, for some bright, they will plan ahead. They will think ahead before their final year actually, or before the year of the subject. So it won't be that much stress actually. But FYP is not stressful. Reading is not stressful. Unless you want to read everything in whole night, then you will be stressed. Okay, but reading is not that stressful. FYP is easy actually, but it will be. Oh, this is not a part of our this is not part. Actually, I want to share with you something. This is not part of our lecture or class today, but I want to share something with you. During my degree study, which is in final year project in our final year, I have a friend who is a bright student. He is a student under scholarship JPA. So this JPA, I'm not sure if you know this. JPA is a scholarship where they will give only to the straight A student with higher pointer, not only first class, higher pointer. So I have a friend. He is very smart student, very smart. I think he is one of the smartest. My professor once pointed him in our class as a smart student. Okay, so yeah, he's very smart, but I'm not sure if he is. I won't say that he is unlucky. Of course, the lecturer have her perspective. because I'm a lecturer too. So of course, I think now I understand the lecturer, his supervisor have a perspective. Okay, I won't say he is unlucky, but like I said, he is a very smart student, straight A student. But during his FYP, his supervisor, the lecturer that should get him volunteer to ask him to drop from FYP. I'm not sure what was the reason last time, but shouldn't be that way. So the supervisor suggests to him, why don't you drop this course? That means drop. Uh, FYP is a subject that you need to have or you need to pass in order for you to grab. Okay, so that lecturer asked him, why don't you? Yeah, I'm not lying. I heard this too because he is one of my gang. I mean, close friend. So he's very close to me. That's why I said he's very smart. Okay. So that supervisor told him, she said to him, why don't you drop this course? And then the supervisor, offered herself to help him to drop. He asked my friend, she said that, do you want me to help you to remove your name from the list of the student? I mean, from the list of the student under her. She asked her to remove. That's why I said, um, yeah, it's actually I so that's why I said mm, it's up to that part actually because it's a process. So is very important. If I repeat, if I still here with you guys on your final year, if I'm still here with you guys on your final year, or maybe I'm not sure next time if I am assigned to be a supervisor for senior student, I'm not sure if I think for me myself, I know it is hard for me. I will now what's my point now? My point is if I am the supervisor to my student, I think I will take the perspective from the student as well because some of the lecturer they only think or they only view from their part. Like I said, my friend is a very smart student. Then she offer him, you want to drop? I can help you. Okay, things like that shouldn't happen actually. Maybe my friend, I don't really know what was the problem last time because FYP is sensitive sometimes to some people, so we don't really talk about this. But I know there's thing happened too. And my friend, again, not related to our chapter, my friend, he again, because I have many close boyfriends. So my friend, he got shoot by his own supervisor. That's mean. Hi. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, 5 minutes. Too many 5 minutes today. So yeah, where did we stop? Oh, can I continue my short story? FYP. Supervisor. Yeah, supervisor. I have a friend, best friend. No, yeah, a best friend of mine actually. So she or he have this supervisor. Actually, in presentation, supervisor shouldn't help you. Okay, your supervisor should say a word, shouldn't say any word, because the presentation is all about you and your work, not your supervisor. However, in some cases, like I said, supervisor will be very helpful. They will help you. But in my case, the supervisor to my friend, she is the person that shoot my friend. Shoot is, I think you know what's the meaning by shoot. So she shoot my friend. Okay, so it's very hard actually. So that's why I said supervisor is very important. But of course, not. I believe because I'm a lecturer now. So from my point of view, I think none of the lecturer want the student to be fail in his FYP in his project. So yeah, I think all or every lecturer, of course, we want you guys to pass. But some supervisor, like I said, some lecturer, it's up to the student. Some lecturer, they will have their best to help the student. Okay, so don't be afraid with your supervisor or your lecturer. Okay, that's all for supervisor thing. Any question? Any more? Any question you want to ask or you think you're curious to ask for your FYP? Oh, means a lecturer can. The supervisor is a lecturer actually. I haven't told you supervisor is actually a lecturer. Yeah, supervisor is a lecturer, so that lecturer will guide you. But like I said, I'm not sure here in TAR, either the student will be appointed or with a supervisor, or you will propose us with your research. Okay, that one I'm not sure. But your supervisor is your lecturer. Your examiner is a lecturer. Okay. Any more question? And for your FYP title, this is a suggestion too. For your FYP title, I strongly suggest you guys, if you have that option to choose your own supervisor, if you have that option to choose your title, make sure you do that title or you pick a title that you can go with. Doesn't not do not choose some random things for your FYP. Okay. For example, if you're not interested with robotic, don't do robotic. If you're not interested with algorithm, don't do algorithm. If you think that your programming is not good, don't do development in your research. Okay. Now how is the approach? What do you mean approach? Yeah, you mean that? Yeah. Is it the same like RM? Yeah, but it is will be more detailed. Like I said, you need to produce. uh, You need to come out with a thesis. Actually, hi. Yeah, sure. So, like I said, you need to come up with a thesis. Okay. So, of course, you need to collect data. You need to go out and do your experiment. Okay. And of course, like I said, sometimes you even need to refer to uh, scientists or expert. But I think for your level, you doesn't need that for degree. But for some cases, yeah, you need to. It is very general actually in FYP. That's why I said everything will be guided by your supervisor. Your supervisor is lecturer. And the pass or the fail too will become from the supervisor. That one thing, the pass and the fail, the supervisor, examiner and supervisor is the lecturer. So the pass and the fail will become from them. Will come from them. Okay, so yeah. Any more question? Jeremiah, do you have any question? Russell, any question? Russell, Janet, Nathan, Sue. Oh yeah, in case some of you wondering, for research, is there any, how do I say this? For research, is there any like what you can do? Hi. for research, what you can do is with work, or how it is related with work, is actually for some company we have this department, research and development. So research will do the things where they will conduct the research. Hah? Barang. Yeah, for some company we have this department, research. Yeah, they will conduct the research. So yeah, in case of you wonder that is there any contribution of research, of course some company we have research. My previous company, no. My first company we have this department, research. So we have a scientist, data scientist team. Yeah, data scientist actually. So any question? Can I proceed with the next? No, I should proceed with our practical actually. Okay, with our practical, so I think you can go and open your, we have one more method actually, known as ANOVA. Okay, so if you can open your PSPP, you have actually ANOVA, but two set of data, ANOVA one way and two way of ANOVA. Okay, so this is, okay, the first one is one way ANOVA. Can I proceed to our practical? First practical, one way ANOVA. Yeah, it's awkward in here, but let's proceed. So let's proceed with our first practical, which is one-way ANOVA testing. So ANOVA, we have a few methods actually. So the first one we will look, today we will look into two, one-way and what's that? Two-way ANOVA. Okay, so ANOVA is also a technique or a method to validate our data. So ANOVA is one of the famous method actually, other than the thing that you use chi-square or in the method that you use in your assignment. Okay, so standard for analysis of variance. So it is a statistical test used to analyze the difference between means of more than two groups. So this is the function of one-way ANOVA. Okay, so here we have dv, which is our continuous, and iv, our independent variable, which is categorical. Okay, this one, and then this dv and iv will have the value on both the dependent and independent value. That means we need to have both value. I mean, we need to have value for all dv and our iv. And then independent sample group, for example, here is independent observation. So from our ANOVA, like I said, it is shows, or like I said, ANOVA is a method to see what is the relationship between two or more group. So there is no relationship between the subject in each sample. This means that if this is the case, this means that the subject in the first group cannot also be in the second group. If this is the result, there is no relation between the subject in each sample. Okay, so the subject cannot be in the second group, and no subject in either group can be influenced subject in other group. That means they are not related. Okay, they are not related to each other. Okay, no subject can influence subject. That means they are not related. Okay, no group can influence the other group. This one is same with the second point. That means they are not related. Okay, so we take the random sample of data from the population. Okay, so this is the common purpose or way we use ANOVA. So the first one is statistical difference among the means of two or more group. Okay, two or more group intervention, change of score. Okay, this is where we usually use one way ANOVA. Okay, I repeat one way ANOVA because another method of another ANOVA we will see is two way. Okay, so both one way ANOVA and the independent sample t test. Okay, sample t test you already covered in, I'm very sure this one t test can compare the means for two groups. However, only the one way ANOVA can compare the means across three or more groups. So this is actually the difference. Okay, sample t-test can compare the means for two groups, but for one way ANOVA, it can compare the means across or for three or more groups. Okay, so this is the example. So IB, independent variable, is a social media use. So you can assign group to low, medium, and high level. So this one is the level of the use for the social media. So this is we use to find if there is a difference in hours of sleep per night. Okay. Second example is IV is a brand of soda. So we collect data for different type of brand of soda to find out if there is a difference in the price per 100 ml, which is in numeric, to see what is the difference, okay, between three group or more. So here is another example. IV is a type of fertilizer. So we treat crop field with mixture 1 to 3 to find out if there's a difference in crop yield. Okay, so we see between this mixture of field to see what is the difference for crop yield, which is in number. So as you can see here, first, second, and third, numeric, and number. Okay, so how does it work? So ANOVA determines whether the group created by the levels of the IV is statically different by calculating. Okay, like you see from the previous slide or previous example, it is in number, and numeric. So it is by calculating whether the means of the treatment levels are different from the mean of the DV, uh, dependent variable. If any of the group means is significantly different from the overall, that means we will reject this null hypothesis. Okay, so for your assignment, I think you know these two, and I already see some in some of your assignment, you already state that you already accept or you already reject the hypothesis. However, like I said, you need to state what is the difference for you to accept or why you reject your hypothesis. And I think some of you reject the hypothesis. That is not funny, and that is normal in research. But of course, you need to state why you reject. Okay, that is common actually. You reject your hypothesis, and then how does the ANOVA test work? Okay, ANOVA use F test for statistical significance. So this is to do the comparison between multiple means at once. To do the multiple means at once. So because the error is calculated for the whole set, so rather than for each individual two comparison, which would happen with t test. Okay, so this one is to conduct or to do the comparison at once. Okay, so the next one is F test. F test compare the variance in each group, which mean from the overall group variance. So here we are using variance. This one, I think you know what is variance within groups, is smaller than the variance between groups. So F test will find the higher. It will find the higher F value. So the F value, the higher F value will likely, therefore a higher likelihood that the difference observed is real and not due to any chance. Okay, that means it is real. So here we have exercise. It's not exercise, it's a practical for us to do. So so here how we can use data. How can we use one way ANOVA from PSPP? So here you open your add a data set. Okay, so before you go to that, let's look at this hypothesis. So null hypothesis. Okay, there is no difference. Okay, again, null hypothesis, there is no difference between our variable. Okay, so our variable here is sprint time and smoker or non-smoker. And then the alternate hypothesis is, of course, there is a variable relationship between our variable. So short spell echo speed, echo short spell all running at full speed. Oh, okay. So you do. Please open your dataset 8A, and then you can get dataset 8A, right? Can you open your dataset 8A? Yes. So open dataset 8A and okay, just follow this one. So when you go, this one is actually, by this week, you should know already how to do this. It's not how to do this. You are familiar with APSPP already. So go to Analyze, click on Descriptive, and click on Sprint for the variable. Okay, just one, I think you just need to key in the sprint only. And then you click OK. So this is the result that you will get. Okay, you will get this result. This is my result. Descriptive statistic. Oh, this one. As you can see, we should get the same result, which is our mean is 6.58, minimum is 4.503, maximum is 9 point this value. So, okay, from this result that we get from our data set, we can see that the times exhibit range of 4.5 and or to 9.6, which is the minimum and maximum here with the mean of 6.6. Okay, based on n, or which is our number 374. Okay, so we can see the mean. Okay, so here before we implement, we need to do this process first. So here after you already get your result just now, so you go to your PSPP and then click on Analyze, Compare Means and Means. This one is from the previous result that we get. So choose Sprint as a dependent, as smoking as independent. Okay, choose this one is not from the slide. The image for this one is not on the slide. This one is instruction only. Okay, so click Analyze, Compare Means and click on Means. And then choose Sprint as dependent and smoking as independent. Okay, so you will get this data. No, not this one. So you will get this data. Okay, here, case processing summary and report. Hi. So you will get this result, okay? Okay, so you'll get this result. So according to the compare mean, the valid sample size is this one actually, 353. So this is because compare means and additionally the one-way Anova procedure itself require there is to be none missing value for both and sprint time and the smoking indicator. Okay, this one is the thing that I said like explanation to your result. Okay, so if you think that you want to reject your hypothesis, you need to state why you want, even though you want to accept, actually not only reject, you need to state. Okay, next is implementing one-way ANOVA. So here, you click on still on the same data set, which is at A. So you just go to your PSPP and you click on your analyze up, analyze, as you can see here in the screen, analyze, compare means, and one-way ANOVA. So you click or you select on sprint for your dependent variable and factor as a smoking. Okay, and then you will get this result. Okay, you will get the same result as mine. Okay, so here again, like here in this slide, it is expand, or we can conclude that the mean sprint time is significantly different for at least one of the smoking group. Okay, between our variable, which is p is greater, oh sorry, p is lesser than 0.001. So therefore, null hypothesis is rejected. Okay, so this is the explanation why they reject the null hypothesis. Not the ANOVA alone does not tell us specifically which means were different from another. Okay, they didn't highlight which means is different from one another. Okay, so as your last page in this slide, you can get this reference, two reference. So you can go to this reference if you want to know more about SPSS. Okay, and up tutorial 2. Okay, that one is One Way Anova. Okay, like I said, this one is very famous actually. One of the method actually of ANOVA, of validity. Okay, any question for this practical 8? I assume you guys do the practical, but the practical is quite easy actually. Mm. Regarding the data set is no problem because I get the exact result. So this result you can cross check with the lecture note. Like I explained just now, what is the reason or why they reject the hypothesis. So let's proceed to practical 8. No, practical 9. Okay, let's proceed with practical 9. So practical 9 is actually two-way ANOVA. So like I said, we have a type for this ANOVA. So this one is two-way ANOVA. So what is two-way ANOVA? So GLM, or General Linear Model, is the basic underlying mathematical function for most of the statistical analysis method, including here t-test, one-way ANOVA, two-way ANOVA, and analysis of this one. This one is another thing, cover. Analysis of convariance. Okay, two-way ANOVA simply means that we are conducting analysis with one dependent variable and two fixed factor. So I assume you know what is I assume you know what is one dependent variable. Okay, uh, variable that we fix or we keep. Oh no, the variable that will change. Okay, one dependent variable and two fixed factor. The thing that we keep, the factor that we keep throughout our experiment in the statistic model. Okay, so by using two-way ANOVA, our hypothesis is that some interaction effect between the two fixed factor that affect the dependent variable. This one, I think the explanation is straightforward. So I think you can understand this point here. So a two-way ANOVA will have one dependent variable and two fixed factor. This one is the same with the second point here. Okay, one dependent variable that will affect, that will change the result actually, and two fixed factor dependent. Okay, so now for this practical, you open your data set 9A. Okay, so for this data set, we have a hypothesis here. So students, gender, and the group type have no effect or no relationship with the treatment. And then the alternative hypothesis, of course, the contradict statement with the null hypothesis. So the alternative is students, gender, and their group type have significant effect on the treatment. Okay, so you open your dataset 9A, analyze, you click on analyze, and you directly click on univariate analysis. Okay, and then click or choose the dependent variable, which is street, and fixed factor, which is gender and group. Okay, and then you click OK. So you will get this result. Okay, test of between subject effect. So you will get this result: gender, group, gender, and group. Okay. So this one is definition. So the test of between subject effect will provide the significance for the main effect of the two variable, as well as the significance of the interaction effect. So the primary rows to make note of this table are gender, group, and gender group. This one, the highlighted part here in this result. Okay, so implementing two ways ANOVA, how can we read or analyze this result is here. As you can see, the effect table shows that the main effect of both gender P.001 and P less than 0.001 are statistically significant. Okay, statistically significant. They read this part. They analyze this part. And then, however, the interaction effect of those two factors is not statistically significant, 0.02 at 3. So this is indicate that it's not a combined effect of these two factors that increase the difference between we would find in the sample over the effect. So they will accept this hypothesis. Okay, so for the group, because I know there are group who reject the alternate hypothesis and accept the null hypothesis. So you need to state you accept your null hypothesis is due to what reason. Okay, so that's all for our practical for this course. And then you can open factor analysis result here. Okay, this one is actually from all of our practical. This is the table. Okay, you can refer to this. So we already finished all the PSPP. So mostly PSPP is used to analyze our data. I think you know this too. So you used to analyze our data. So this is one of the simplest tool actually. Actually, there are more tools out there, but I think this level they choose PSPP because it cover all of this and this is easy actually to understand. Okay, so that one is for our practical. Any question? So before we proceed with our, I'm not sure if I can proceed, but let's talk about your experiment. Why I keep saying experiment today? I mean your assignment, your article. So as I already informed in your, oh, those to the latecomer today, I know. So first, just now before our class, I already mentioned about the midterm. Okay, I said, you already receive your midterm mark. So whoever haven't received the midterm mark, please do notify me. And then I already, this one you can check with your course outline. Your midterm will be discussed or I will give your feedback on midterm on week 13. Okay, week 13. Okay, however, based on our CC, it is not necessary to return back to the student the paper. But I will discuss the midterm paper with you guys on this week. It's not this week, on week 13. Okay, that one for midterm part. Next in your assignment. Okay, so for assignment, uh, I already informed in the group is Okay, presentation. Week this week. Okay, submission is this week. So, in case some of you wonder why you need to submit first and present, because I think that's normal, right? You submit first, so we'll actually have a time to read your presentation, your project. So for your FYP2, it will have the same practice where you will read or you need to submit your presentation before your you submit your report before your presentation. Okay, so for your presentation next week, what I expect you to present is in a PowerPoint, in a slide. It's not necessarily PowerPoint, but you need to have a slide to present. So for this one, I want to give example on how to write a presentation of your research. So which group want to be volunteer so that the group or the project I can use as our example here? Who want to? I have the link. Me. Okay. So wait. I will use Jonathan Ian group to. I open the link first. I have the link. Mm. Oh, yeah, send the link to you. Sorry. I shouldn't send the. Actually, the link is for me. Okay then. Okay, here is the example. Okay, this is an example. So later you okay. Oh, okay. So like I said, for your presentation, same RM and FYP, you doesn't need to explain. You need to explain your research, but you doesn't need to present this whole article. Okay, you doesn't need to present this whole article. Okay, so for research method or for your FYP, it is the same presentation actually. So for your next week, like I said, you can use any material, you can use any form as long as you present your research. So let me take PowerPoint. I think that one is easiest. So let me take PowerPoint. So in your PowerPoint, I think you know to in your slide you should include your title, and this one, name and the student number, metric student. Okay, so this is the part of the content of your presentation or your slide. So in your slide, okay, first for abstract, since abstract is not long as other parts, so abstract you can include this part abstract in one part, okay, in one part in your slide. So okay, for presentation and for slide, there's no specific format actually. So what I suggest you guys to do before this part, before the first part of course abstract, but before this first part, what I suggest you guys to do is do some introduction. It's not like introduction, we have introduction actually, but tell the people what your research is about. Okay, tell the audience. Okay, so that before you jump into the abstract, people have the idea on what you want to do, on what is your research about. Okay, that one is abstract. And then for introduction, so after your abstract, like I said, for before abstract you need to introduce, but not as detailed as your introduction. So for introduction, you doesn't need to copy this. I mean, you doesn't need to include copy. Yeah, you doesn't need to include all of your this part. Doesn't need. What you need to do is you just pick some point that you should share with them, share with everyone. Okay, for example, in introduction for this group, maybe they can explain what is Grab, or here what is the subject? Grab taxi. Oh yeah, this one you can explain what is Grab taxi, or yeah, you can explain what is Grab taxi, or what is the maybe the evolution, yeah, evolution or the history of it, and then how they come to Sabah, right? Yeah, how the history in Sabah, what is the use in Sabah for this one. Okay, for introduction. So you just pick some of the point for your introduction. Same goes to other part. Okay, so problem statement also you doesn't need to include this one. So you just first what you need to do is you just tell what is the gap, what is the problem actually. Okay, what is the problem that will lead to this research. Okay, this whole part you conclude, and what is the gap that will lead to this research. Okay, and then for research objective you need to include all. You need to include all, but you need to explain as well. Okay, because we cannot assume, you cannot assume that people know what is this. You cannot assume people know what is this. You need to explain. Okay, same goes with your RQ research question. You need to copy, but you need to explain. Okay, for example, so here the first research question is this part. So you need to explain. So this research question, this first research question is actually needed to cover this first objective, which is this objective. Is it correct? I say first certified certified. Yeah. Okay, so this one is correct. So you need to tell this first research question is need to be identified so that you can answer this first objective. Okay, so like I said just now, you need to explain this objective. Same with second and third. Okay, for research hypothesis, yeah, this one you need to, okay, for hypothesis, you need to include all of your hypothesis. Okay, you need to include all of your hypothesis. Why? Because at the end of this presentation, not, I mean, at the end of your presentation, you need to state back if you want to accept or reject your hypothesis. Okay, so you need to get, or you need to copy this all in your hypothesis. Assumption, of course, this is short, just take assumption. So this is the part I said LR. So LR here, this is too long, right? You cannot, or you do not include this all part in your LR. But, okay, for LR, you need to include this subtopic here. For example, here, history of 2.1, you need to include, but you do not include this all, everything here. So you just pick or choose the point that you think important. Okay, so include the subtopic, but do not include all of the content into the slide. Okay. Okay. Just for example, okay, here. For example, okay, here, this is a part in your presentation. So you need to give example. So you need to explain what is public transportation. Okay, like I said, we cannot assume people know what is public transportation. So maybe you can include this one in your slide. What is public transportation? So you can explain, oh, okay, public transportation is actually this and this. Okay, you just pick whatever you think important to deliver your point to the audience. Oh, okay. Same goes to this one. This 2.2, you need to include all the sub you need to include, but you need to know which one is important, not all. And then 2.3, 2, you need to include. Okay. So here I can pick one point that I think you can include is commuter. You tell people what is commuter. Okay, so this is the definition of commuter. So you need to tell people, oh, commuter is actually the people who are using public transport. So public transport you already explained in the 2.1, if I'm not mistaken, just now. Okay, so this one you can tag for this group. And of course, I think ada some other point too you can tag. Okay, so that is the thing that you can pick for your LR, not all, but the thing that you think important for LR. And then for research methodology. Research methodology also you doesn't need to include this thing. This one you can I won't say brief, but you can explain instead of writing or including all of this. You can um, just take the point to explain how you conduct your data collection or for research methodology, which is data collection. Of course, you need to include the sub here. You need to include data collection, but you doesn't need to write. You just need to explain how you collect your data. 3.2, because this is a sub, so you need to get this one too. And then some part of it, for example, data analysis. So here this group is using GNUPSPP. Okay, you can explain a bit on this it's not method, this application software, this software. Okay, so you conduct other than this one too, maybe you need to tell, but you do not copy because it will be boring if you copy all statement. Just try to make it as simple as possible using point form. Maybe, for example, you state that you are using Google form questionnaire, then you explain how you generate the Google form questionnaire. And then next is part 2. Okay, this one you need to accept which hypothesis using what, second using what. Okay, you need to describe for each of the hypothesis. Okay, just simple point, but make sure it is important for people to know. So for research question, you doesn't need to include your research questionnaire. Maybe this one is in appendix if you want to include for your presentation. However, in the part, in the content, you only state this one, something like this. Okay, how many question? So it's divided into which part? I mean, how many part? Yeah, yeah, something like this actually. But don't include this. I mean, don't include all of this, but you need to you need to tell you have 3 parts, so you can explain 3 part is what part, or yeah, the description of the part. And then this part, of course, too, you need to include, and then yeah, you need to include this part too, and then you need to give a brief description actually, and sampling too. So sampling, it's quite easy. You tell how many number of people involved or who are them, who are they. So this one is sampling. And result and overall finding. So result here, you do not, for this one, for this group, I suggest you, I think for other group too, if you have graph, you doesn't need to include this one. You, oh, no, I'm not sure. I'm not really read this one. But if you have graph, just, just get this graph, just get this graph, and you will you explain this graph later best in your presentation. You doesn't need to include the point, for example, here 21 mil. Yeah, you doesn't need to. Yeah, you doesn't need to include this statement here. Explain. So in our research, we get how many number of male, how many number of female. Okay.
We need to show all of them, all the graphs.
Huh?
Do we need to show all the graphs of our questionnaire during the presentation?
Questionnaire graph only on the result.
We presentation need to show all of them, the pictures, the graph
The
picture.
picture
Yeah, the graph.
graphic, no. I
Not
mean
present.
for LR.
No, I mean presentation.
Wait. Do you need to?
Do we need to present all the questionnaire graphs, the results?
Yeah.
Okay.
For especially for let me recap. Where is it this now? Oh, Google. So for if, because sometimes in LR2 you have image, okay? So that one you can present too. But for your result here, better you include all this graph. This is the pie chart. You better show this figure so that this figure you can explain, okay? You doesn't need to include this one because this one sometimes could be boring. So you just include all of this. This, what else? This, all of the result actually. Okay, because result and finding is very important. This one too, but explain what it is, okay? This one is for H1. You can start. So this one is for H1. So this is the graph, the pie chart. So you explain based on this pie chart. Are they satisfied using this one or using e-hailing? And this one too. This is very important because from this one you can start if your hypothesis is accepted or not, or it is reliable or not. The question is. Okay, same part of this. Same goes to this one. Comfort, promotion. Okay, I think yeah, this one is on analysis. So like I said, for analysis and result of finding, include the graph and you present the graph. If you think you have too many graph, you have too many pie chart, you just select which one is important or which one that you think. Of course, all your result is relevant, but for your presentation, choose which one is important. Okay? It's okay. Uh, Dokter mau round ke sudah? Dokter mau datang? Ah, okay. Oh, sorry. It's okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, so if you think too many pie chart, just capture what you think important or what you think crucial for your presentation. Okay, and then conclusion. Okay, conclusion too. You don't get into all of this. So for what important is conclusion is you highlight back here, like I can see, you highlight back what is the hypothesis. I don't think we need to present this part. Need or you don't want to need. Oh, you don't want to need. 8.1.
My
No.
meaning is like since our previous section is about the hypothesis, so we don't need to like go again the testing again, but
Oh, you mean you already have this one?
since like the last section is the analysis and testing already, so might as well just go to 8.1 like that.
Okay, but okay, I understood what you're saying, Ian. But in your letter, in your presentation, for your FYP, you need this part actually, because this is the conclusion. If not, people will ask what is your conclusion, even though you have the same result. Okay, even though you have the same result, so you just like maybe you just put in a slide, but you doesn't need to explain. Okay, you just put in a slide what is your hypothesis one or is it accepted or not. Okay, because
Oh,
like I
okay.
said, you already explained before. Okay, I accept that part. Okay, for some group who haven't present, for other group that have not, I'm not sure if you didn't explain, but I think all of you should already explain. You need to explain in this part. Okay, and then this one is the significance of research and finding contribution. Okay, this one too, just take the point. Okay, this one is the first point. Second, I think it's in paragraph already. So you just take this one, for example, this one. Yeah. This one, this point. Okay, this one is limitation of our research study. This one is the gap. What is the gap? Okay, this one is the limitation. To highlight this part. And then recommendation for research work. Okay, this one you only give point. What do you think should be used in your next research or other research work for further research? What else? Appendix reference only take part of it which you think important, not done all. Same goes to appendix. If you want to attach your questionnaire, you can include in the appendix part. Okay. But I believe for each of the group, because this one is only for Jonathan group. Nathan, yeah, this group. So it can be different from other groups. So if you're not sure which part you should include in your presentation, you can ask me. Okay, if you're not sure, should you include this or not? Okay, for other group, can over. Yeah, I agree with them. I agree with Noel. I think this group, who else? This group, I think Rachel too. I read they have a very good of writing. And Daniel, I think Daniel group. I think Daniel, because I see already Daniel, Ivan, and Konkenshak, if I'm not mistaken. They know how to write, but they don't follow the format. I already tell this group for many times already. Please justify your paragraph. But the last I check haven't. But they have a very good writing. 20 page of 25 page of slide. Yeah, I mean presentation slide. Oh, article. You mean article?
Fine, ngam 25 pages lah, excluding appendix and references.
Can over some group I see 40 page. If you want to exit, then okay, but make sure the number. They got one group, if I'm not mistaken, 40 pages. Make sure that group, because I see so many empty space, white space. Make sure you remove them. I won't say make sure you remove the empty space, but don't use one thing on one page. You can combine actually. Okay, so the minimum is 20, but I will accept if you have more than 25 page. Okay, Kelvin Shark. Kelvin Shark is the same group with who's the there's one person actually, I forgot. Jeremiah, if I'm not mistaken. You're in the same group with Jeremiah, right? Is it? Then there's one group student actually. Oh, I think this guy. Okay then. Okay already. So like I said, okay then. Okay. So like I said, for different group, I believe you have different slide or different part. If you're not sure, you can ask me for your presentation. Okay. So one more thing, the different. I think I only taught this to one student. As not one student. I taught this not to the class, but I think I taught to people. So for presentation, for research method, it is quite different actually with your other subject. Okay, for Viva, for your FYP, if you already present, you still can improve your assignment, your research, your research. Okay, you can still improve your research. So for this research method too, of course you need to submit tomorrow. I mean, I already give the date, right? This weekend. You need to submit this weekend for me to read, and the presentation is on next week. And if I think that your work, I mean your article is too weak, it's not weak, I mean a lot to improve, I will point out what you need to improve, so you still have to improve. Okay, so you still have time to it's not time to improve, time to do correction actually. Okay, so that is how we do research. Okay, not one time you submit then you will get your mark. That's what I'm trying to say. You guys understand or not? But okay. Sunday. Wow, you utilize the time. Sunday, week 11 is this one. That's mean, sure, if you want to. Actually, I know the concern already. For other branch, that's why I said don't share with this is quite different. That I know some branch also do the same with me. For KL, they have like 100, I'm not sure already, 100 plus branch. So that's why the lecturer asked them need to submit this week because the lecturer, like I said, we need to read before the presentation. We need to read your work. So if you want to ask on 11:59 p.m. night can, but don't expect me to return your research on Monday. Okay, L. Sure, utilize your time. Use whatever you want to, but make sure you give me time to read before the presentation. If not, then how am I supposed to evaluate and highlight what is the thing that you need to improve? So, whoosh, I see that. Okay. So, any more question regarding your RM?
Oh, Miss,
Midterm, I already explained.
can you check the last appendix about the research schedule?
Your
Yeah, the last page. Just go to the bottom. Yeah, that one.
this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it
This is the
okay?
um.
I heard from Russell, like he asked to, he said, hey, Miss, you asked to put in the appendix side.
Yes. Yeah. So this one is your Gantt chart. Is this the correct spelling? I'm not sure, but this is Gantt chart. So you need to tell what chart is this. Wow. LR, let me share with you. LR usually it will until the last part actually. So maybe we can highlight this one. How to highlight? You highlight. Because literature is ongoing. Okay.
Can I just put the research methodology as well to the end because we might have changes here and there also, like this.
Again, this one is actually up to the student actually.
Oh, okay.
It's not specific. This one is based on you how you conduct your research. But like I said, usually LR, the common Gantt chart is if sorry, is you highlight for all of the part. But yeah, you put this here appendix. Discussion conclusion. Yeah, I think this one should be okay already. Any more question?
Oh, the specifications kan, the subtitle. So let's say like the introduction, 1.0 introduction. It asks us to do in small caps, but then Google Docs we cannot do in small caps, meaning like everything is caps, but there's like different size. So can we
Yeah,
just
this one
it
too.
can we just put it in all caps like the subtitle for 1.0 introduction like that?
Can. I read that one too. That one is
Very minor changes lah, that one.
yeah. This one right? You mean?
Yeah. A bit bottom, go down a bit. I think it's below keywords. Yeah, the
This one.
section headings. Yeah, section headings.
Okay lah. Okay.
Okay.
Wih. Ya, net, siapa nih? Yes, Ian, Ken. Okay, any more question? Other team, Rachel, your team, do you have question? Oh, I
Miss,
got one student. Oh yeah, Daniel.
about our assignment kan. The question is we already test the reliability. We already test the reliability using corporate alpha. Ours is how to say unacceptable, considered as unacceptable, reject by the PSPP itself. It say that 0.4.
1, 2, 3. I think, yeah, reject. I think I'm not sure why your group. Okay, Rachel. Not only your group, other group also they fail. No. I'm not sorry, not fail. They reject the hypothesis. Okay, like I said, that is normal, but you need to clarify why do you think your hypothesis is reject? Made you to what reason? Okay, it is normal actually. Ferry Vincent, I comment on your comment. Okay, Daniel, just now, if you want to reject, sure. It's not that you want to reject, but the result shows that it is rejected, but you need to explain why you reject. Maybe to what? Okay, Daniel. Apa? Jawab lah. Yeah. Oh, survey can be not reliable.
But for my,
it's not enough. This one is actually a reason.
For my thoughts, maybe it's the question itself, our peer question itself.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
We stress already.
Why you want to stress? It is not something to be stressed about. Yeah, like I said, submit this week so that I can read before the presentation. So after the presentation, if I think something need to be changed, I will let you guys change. I will point out which you need to change. Okay.
Oh, before finalize the mark, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Daniel, I know your group. You don't put everything into last minute, huh?
No. We didn't put in last minute. Most of the thing we already finished on, except the validation and reliability. We are not facing because I already put all the data, and all sudden I just testing using the corporate alpha. It show me unreliable. It show me the number of reliability is very low. So it's low. That's why it's kind of low.
Yeah, are you sad or are you stressed? But either way, don't feel that way. Okay, that is normal, but you need to explain. Okay, for example, here Calvin Shark, I'm not sure. Maybe I haven't checked yet this team for result. Survey cannot be reliable because not enough respondent. If you think that is the reason, you can state, or maybe due to the data issue. I'm not sure. That's your research, but you can state why. Okay, but yeah, don't put everything into last minute. Submit everything that you need, that you think that you need to be evaluated, and I will check, I will read, and then your presentation. So same goes with your FYP actually. That's what we call as a change, either minor change or major change. Okay, minor change is change to your work so that your mark can be increased. So any more question?
Oh, Miss, regarding the plagiarism originality checker, how do we conduct it?
Oh yeah, I asked you last time, that student, do you have like this one is actually from my side. I need to check the plagiarism.
Either Turnitin or GC.
But for what is it? You don't have Turnitin, right?
I do. I have. Oh no, I also have.
I mean, other student, do you have Turnitin account? Oh, this one, yeah. I think this one is from my side too.
Maybe if the easiest, maybe Miss can just assign like Google Doc to be uploaded, then we can check inside the originality. It will be easier.
You mean in the Google Classroom?
Yep.
I think it's not there.
I think previously many lecturers do like this as well.
You just upload, right? Let
yeah,
me share my
we but then we have a problem. We cannot upload our current doc. We have to use the doc that you have provided in the submission there to check. It's kind of problematic, but then a small minor problem. We can just print out everything there also.
That means I need to, because this one, that means this part, sorry. For example, I create one assignment. So here, so
Yeah.
you just upload.
Yep. I think
So
it will.
just,
I think it will click. Create a Google Doc by itself. I'm not sure. Maybe Miss, you can try first.
if I check this one and assign to all students,
I think only assigned to like the group leaders like that only.
yeah, regardless on that. So every time you upload your assignment to here, they will do the checking, right?
We have to
Yes.
run it lah. But then then we have a option to run it before we submit. And then we can run 3 times at most, like turn it in.
Because if I click on this, right, I will get a flag if you copy paste or what is the web source. No, not
Yep.
web source. I will
And then
get
we also
like a flag.
we also can place the report, the originality report inside the submission also. So like double down the originality checker.
This one I think I will confirm with you guys later.
Okay.
Because I will confirm with you guys later because I think there's a way actually. Okay. Other than this one, turn it in our originality. Anything else?
Oh, Miss, I see the post. Maybe I try first.
Oh, can.
Okay.
Other student?
Oh, I think it's possible. I think can.
Can provide.
Let me share my test. So it's like this. I uploaded the doc here, so I can just run this and then turn in later. We will have a report here also later on. Let me try.
So you just upload there.
Yeah. Just upload a Google Drive like that. Can let me try run.
For example.
Oh, okay, already done. So I can view the report here.
Open.
It will show this. Oh, I have 2. Okay. Okay. Only like that. So I can.
Usually on the reference part too, they will highlight if you have the Algorithm. This one is I accept with the. This one is actually the same with test. Actually, we receive a flag.
Same thing. So I can just maybe print this out and then submit it at here also.
Okay. Or can I move to Ferro Vincent group for a moment before we end? So, Ferro Vincent, can I open your assignment here? Can I share with the class? Ferro Vincent, Kelvin Shark, who else? This guy. Zoo, Z, Nathan. Can I share the? Okay. So let me share my screen with you. So I receive here actually try to add more for your LR. So what I meant is here you said by add more topic or more words in LR. So for example 2.1 2.1. If you think that you cannot or you cannot think any more of subtopic that you can, but I think you have 3, right? If I'm not mistaken, 1. Yeah, 3 only if I'm mistaken. Yeah, correct. So for LR you have these 3 subtopic. So what I can you copy paste from where this part. So if you want to add LR, what I suggest you to, for example, this 2.1 social media in education, you find another. We try to add other work that has been done for this part, social media in education. It can be newspaper if there is newspaper. So, for example, 2.1. Part B, so pick for what is this? LR is enough for your group. Okay, do you understand, Kelvin Shark, Vincent, Nathan? Try to add more part for this one. If you can find newspaper, maybe make sure you check on your format. Okay, what is this? Your font. The font here is different, as you can see. So make sure you check on this format.
Oh yeah, the reference.
Yes, why the reference?
The bottom part, is our reference writing correct? At the bottom format.
Reference.
Oh, bottom this is yeah.
Why you have so many empty spaces here? Dog is coming, guys.
Empty space.
Hi. Oh, okay. Empty spaces. I mean this blank space actually.
Oh, these blank spaces.
Yeah, same to the other group.
Just
So
more tidy. Because the table will split apart if we don't have space. Because the table will be in between the pages.
oh, so you cannot. Then that one, this one, why have spaces? Oh, this one you ask reference.
Yeah, how we write, is it okay or is there problem?
Is it based on alphabetical order? Library video. Wow. So many reference. Is this all you use for your reference? I mean, is this all you use for your research?
Yeah. I think
Oh yeah.
yeah.
For this subject, I won't be harsh on student. I won't ask, for example, I won't randomly go and pick this one. I won't ask what is the use of this reference. I won't ask for this one. But for your FYP, be careful of this, because yeah, don't randomly copy some reference and put here to add the number of reference. Some of the lecture, sometimes, for example, I just scroll down here and I will point to this one. For example, internet use and its addiction level in medical student. So I will ask, which part in your project you use this one? Okay, for this subject, I won't do that. But for your FYP, be careful on that one. Okay, okay. Yeah, this one is correct already. But other group last time, I forgot already which group. It is not arranged. I mean, like, it is not arranged in alphabetical order. So you need to arrange. Okay, if you ask this one, yes, correct. However, where is your, oh, I think this group haven't, yes, already. Oh yeah, so for this group, maybe you can try to add one chat, kan chat, any chat lah, any chat for your schedule actually, not necessarily kan chat. If you can find mm, any other method to explain, yeah. But yeah, is this one usually kan chat? That one is up to you. Oh, this one, flag content, you need to refer. Sometimes it is usually, for my research too, usually it's due to my reference. Sometimes they will highlight the reference. Then you need to check. And me, myself, I will check too. Okay, so any more question? Hey, I think you guys have class, right? After this? Yeah, check on your reference. Oh, 2 p.m. Oh, okay. But I think we can end our class today. So any question you can ask me. Don't forget to submit your assignment. And don't be stressed about this subject.
Simon, arrange properly, right? the things as we
Arrange?
follow the sample, we follow the sample of the sample assignment, do the format to arrange, so it's okay, right?
You forward the what?
For the sample assignment
Sample
provided.
assignment?
Yeah, we follow the
Okay.
the format of the sample assignment
Oh,
provided, so it's okay. It's okay also, right?
you follow the format of the sample of the assignment provided.
Yeah.
Yes. I think I
Because,
upload, right?
yeah, you uploaded it. Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw the other groups use use another kind of format, so I was just curious on.
Yeah. I think I remember I uploaded the yes scan.
So both okay.
For minor things, I said for minor things. If too major, then But I think I already checked all of you. I think should be okay. Even including reference. Some I think I already mentioned. But for minor thing, yeah, it's okay. Any more question? So other people, other student, Daniel. Okay, I think we can dismiss. Celine, do you have another question? Okay then. Ivan, are you okay, Ivan? Do you have question? Later, miss you inform in the group. No question. I will assign to the leader, and then only that leader will upload to me your assignment, except this one form that I mentioned, evaluation form. That one is individually. You email to me. Okay? Yeah. So this one I mentioned right already, individual evaluation, email to me. This one don't include together with your group. To me, individual. Okay, you assign each of you need to evaluate each of you. Okay, guys. I think if no more question, we can dismiss now. Okay. Bye bye.